Bedtime stories for adults. China folklore. The Ape Sun Wu Kung. Sun Wu Kung came to the strand of the Western Sea and built a raft, floated it over the Western Sea, and reached the land of the West. There he let his raft drift, and went ashore. After he had searched for many days, he suddenly saw a high mountain with deep, quiet valleys. As the Ape King went toward it, he heard a man singing in the woods, and the song sounded like one the blessed spirits might sing. So he hastily entered the wood to see who might be singing. There he met a woodchopper at work. The Ape King bowed to him and said, "Venerable, divine master, I fall down and worship at your feet." Said the woodchopper, "I am only a workman. Why do you call me divine master? Then, if you are no blessed God, how comes it you sing that divine song?" The woodchopper laughed and said, "You are at home in music. The song I was singing was really taught me by a saint. If you are acquainted with a saint," said the Ape King, "he surely cannot live far from here. I beg of you to show me the way to his dwelling." The woodchopper replied, "It is not far from here. This mountain is known as the Mountain of the Heart. In it is a cave, where dwells a saint who is called the Discerner. The number of his disciples, who have attained blessedness, is countless. He still has some 30 to 40 disciples gathered about him. You need only follow this path which leads to the south, and you cannot miss his dwelling." The Ape King thanked the woodchopper, and, sure enough, he came to the cave which the latter had described to him. The gate was locked, and he did not venture to knock. So he leapt up into a pine tree, picked pine cones, and devoured the seed. Before long, one of the saint's disciples came, and opened the door and said, "What sort of a beast is it that is making such a noise?" The Ape King leapt down from his tree, bowed, and said, "I have come in search of truth. I did not venture to knock." Then the disciple had to laugh and said, "Our master was seated lost in meditation, when he told me to lead in the seeker after truth, who stood without the gate. And here you really are. Well, you may come along with me." The Ape King smoothed his clothes, put his hat on straight, and stepped in. A long passage led past magnificent buildings and quiet hidden huts to the place where the master was sitting upright on a seat of white marble. At his right and left stood his disciples, ready to serve him. The Ape King flung himself down on the ground and greeted the master humbly. In answer to his questions, he told him how he had found his way to him. And when he was asked his name, he said, "I have no name. I am the ape who came out of the stone." So the master said,
"Good, I will give you a name. I name you Sun Wu Kung."
The Ape King thanked him, full of joy, and thereafter he was called Sun Wu Kung. The master ordered his oldest disciple to instruct Sun Wu Kung in sweeping and cleaning, in going in and out, in good manners, how to labor in the field, and how to water the gardens. In the course of time, he learned to write, to burn incense and read the sutras. And in this way, some 6 or 7 years went by. One day, the master ascended the seat from which he taught, and began to speak regarding the great truth. Sun Wukong understood the hidden meaning of his words, and commenced to jerk about and dance in his joy. The master reproved him.
Sun Wu Kung, you have still not laid aside your wild nature. What do you mean by carrying on in such an unfitting manner?
Sun Wukong bowed, and answered,
I was listening attentively to you, when the meaning of your words was disclosed to my heart, and without thinking, I began to dance for joy. I was not giving way to my wild nature.
Said the master,
If your spirit has really awakened, then I will announce the great truth to you. But there are 360 ways, by means of which one may reach this truth. Which way shall I teach you?
Said Sun Wukong.
Whichever you will, O master.
Then the master asked,
Shall I teach you the way of magic?
Said Sun Wukong.
What does magic teach one?
The master replied,
It teaches one to raise up spirits, to question oracles, and to foretell fortune and misfortune.
Can one secure eternal life by means of it?
Inquired Sun Wukong. No, was the answer.
Then I will not learn it.
Shall I teach you the sciences?
What are the sciences?
They are the 9 schools of the 3 faiths. You learn how to read the holy books, pronounce incantations, commune with the gods, and call the saints to you.
Can one gain eternal life by means of them?
No.
Then I will not learn them.
The way of repose is a very good way.
What is the way of repose?
It teaches how to live without nourishment, how to remain quiescent in silent purity, and sit lost in meditation.
Can one gain eternal life in this way?
No.
Said Sun Wukong.
What does magic teach one?
The master replied,
It teaches one to raise up spirits, to question oracles, and to foretell fortune and misfortune.
Can one secure eternal life by means of it?
Inquired Sun Wukong. No, was the answer.
Then I will not learn it.
Shall I teach you the sciences?
What are the sciences?
They are the 9 schools of the 3 faiths. You learn how to read the holy books, pronounce incantations, commune with the gods, and call the saints to you.
Can one gain eternal life by means of them?
No.
Then I will not learn them.
The way of repose is a very good way.
What is the way of repose?
It teaches how to live without nourishment, how to remain quiescent in silent purity, and sit lost in meditation.
Can one gain eternal life in this way?
No.
Then I will not learn it.
The way of deeds is also a good way.
What does that teach?
It teaches one to equalize the vital powers, to practice bodily exercise, to prepare the elixir of life, and to hold one's breath.
Will it give one eternal life?
Not so.
Then I will not learn it. I will not learn it.
Thereupon the master pretended to be angry, leapt down from his stand, took his cane and scolded.
What a knave! This he will not learn, and that he will not learn. What are you waiting to learn then?
With that, he gave him 3 blows across the head, retired to his inner chamber, and closed the great door after him. The disciples were greatly excited, and overwhelmed Sun Wu Kung with reproaches. Yet the latter paid no attention to them, but smiled quietly to himself, for he had understood the riddle, which the master had given him to solve. And in his heart he thought,
His striking me over the head 3 times meant that I was to be ready at the 3rd watch of the night. His withdrawing to his inner chamber and closing the great door after him meant that I was to go into him by the back door, and that he would make clear the great truth to me in secret.